Good morning, children, and welcome back to our lesson Sentences. A brief recap of what we have done earlier. We have studied what is a sentence, a group of words that make complete sense is a sentence. That is, a group of such words which are able to convey to us the complete meaning is referred to as a sentence. We have 4 kinds of sentences. Assertive sentence, which is a simple statement of facts. Imperative sentence, which may be a command or a request. Interrogative sentence, which is a question. And lastly, exclamatory sentence, wherein we may express sudden feelings, exclamations. Now today we are further moving down and we are going to study the rules that we need to follow when we change one kind of sentence to the other. So, let's begin. Now, before I begin with today's lesson, I want to convey to you that all the 4 kinds of sentences can be further divided into 2 different kinds. That is, affirmative sentences that give a positive meaning, or a negative sentence, that is, sentences that give a negative meaning. Did you hear me correctly, children? I repeat again. All the sentences, that is, all the 4 types of sentences that we have studied, may be affirmative or negative. Affirmative means sentences that give a positive meaning. Negative means sentences that give a negative meaning. Simply we can say negative sentences have not or no in them. Now let us see the examples of both these types of sentences. Affirmative sentences. My mother gets up early in the morning. Now, the same sentence can also be a negative sentence if we add not to it. My mother does not get up early in the morning. Now, the sentence which was positive has been changed to negative by adding not to it. Another example. Pooja studies German at her school. This is a positive statement. And if we add not to it, it becomes negative. Pooja does not study German at her school. So, I hope you have understood this much. If you add no or not to a sentence, it becomes a negative sentence. But while changing one type of sentence to the other, we need to follow certain rules. So now let us discuss what are those. Changing affirmative sentences to negative sentences. Affirmative sentences can be changed into negative sentences by using not, as we discussed just now. I was sure that it will rain. The same sentence can be negative. I was not sure that it will rain. But children, we need to remember where we have to add no or not. That is the important point. So, let us discuss that. When we change affirmative sentence to negative sentence, we sometimes add a helping verb to affirmative sentences to change them to negative sentences. For example, Shashank reads a storybook every day. Negative, Shashank does not read a storybook every day. Here you see where we have added does. We have added does before the verb read, and we have added not before read, and we have used does. We have used a helping verb does. And children, another thing to remember is while adding does, we remove the S that was originally in reads. The S of the verb is removed when we add does in a sentence. Now sometimes we use does and sometimes we use do. So we need to know when do we use does and when do we use do. We use do with I, you, we, they and plural nouns. We use does with he, she, it and singular nouns. I repeat, when we add a not to a sentence, sometimes we need to add a helping verb to affirmative sentences. When we add does as a helping verb, the S of the verb is removed. We use does with he, she, it and singular nouns, and we use do with I, you, we, they and plural nouns. Another rule is when the sentence already has a helping verb, we put not after the helping verb. Example, Manik will go to the shop in the evening. Here we already have the helping verb will. So while making a negative sentence, we will add not after the helping verb. Manik will not go to the shop in the evening. So here the rule becomes a little different. Next, when we are changing negative sentences to positive ones. To change a negative sentence to a positive sentence, we remove not or no from them. For example, a negative sentence is Farhan will not participate in the race. Affirmative, Farhan will participate in the race. Now children, today we discuss only this much. Your home assignments for today's lesson: read the contents of this PowerPoint presentation carefully, learn the rules of changing sentences from one kind to the other, and solve the exercises that are given in the book. Try to solve them and then check your answers with the ones that are sent by me. The rest of the lesson will be taken up in the next lesson, in the next class. Take care children. Happy learning. Bye.